Hey everyone, welcome back. The day after Cinco de Mayo is the 6th of May, and you're here watching the Kaiser Report. I'm John. I'm here with Kaiser on the couch to tell you we had a marvelous day yesterday, a couple of margaritas and a good Mexican meal for a late lunch, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And the news cycle yesterday was just full of information that we all probably were aghast to hear about how bad things are. And we hear that and from people that have no business complaining about anything, especially the price of food at the White House, which Michelle Obama had to come out and tell us all about how hard it was for her to live in the White House and how hard it is for her to just get by in America as it is today because of the massive cost. This is a woman that lives in a mansion in Hawaii and two other mansions that will be unspoken about because I really don't give a darn where they are or what their situation is with divorce or anything else to do with it. I just am totally amazed that she can complain with the lifestyle that she lives about the price of anything. You know, it's like it's just amusing to me that these people can come out and complain about how hard their life is because of politics, which enriches them. Do you think the Obamas would have the net worth that they have if it wasn't for what they were able to garner as President and First Lady of the United States of America? Yet they will complain about everything. We know that she does not like the white population of the United States. Those words were spoken by she herself at a couple of different occasions. So, it's all our fault that she couldn't enjoy life and her children weren't protected well enough in the White House. This is all crap, folks. And why they're putting her up now to say all these things is beyond me. It's probably something to do with the new Democratic Party reformation that they're coming out with, and they want to divide us by race one more time. And she is an expert at it, Michelle Obama. And he is no better at playing the race card when needed. But the media knocked down by Trump is they're taking on a war they can't win. Some things took place on Air Force One where he's good enough to allow these people to go along. And then they ask the stupid questions. And when he asks them what network they're with, they don't like the answer they get back. But the answer they get back is, in fact, true. Whether or not their networks will ever air it, it's something to be desired. But we can find all this on social media now, and there should be no takebacks on what was said on either side. But we all know that the media is a massive propaganda machine for the left side of the aisle especially, and they will tell you what they think you can handle, and that alone is wrong, and someone should look into that. Our legacy media right now is no better than the propaganda machine of any third world or foreign country that has gone through a lot of upset revolutions and juntas to try and change the progress of a government that may or may not be to the liking of a particular party or regime that needs to be in power. because they have unfinished work to do. And boy, oh boy, if you listen to Jasmine Crockett or any of that like, you're going to quickly see that it's a one-sided media propaganda machine working in unison with these people to make you believe that everything that is cooking along right now beautifully will fail, and we don't have an opportunity to make a correction like he wants to make. And they have to block him at all costs, and this is why you see the sit-ins, the random speeches by idiots that are actually possessing a seat in our Congress, and why, I have no idea. But Trump has had it up to his eyes with the lying side of the media, and let's take a look here.
Hello, everybody. Nice plane. Everyone having a good time. We'll be back in Washington soon. We have a lot of good news to report, and you'll be hearing about it. Probably not now, but you'll be hearing about it. We've had some good things coming out of the many war zones that were created by Biden and a group of incompetent people. But I think we have some pretty good news. So we'll talk about that later or tomorrow. Any questions?
Round 1, fight!
Mr. President, during the News Nation town hall, you said that you didn't make any mistakes in your first 100 days. Was appointing Mike Waltz as your national security advisor?
No, it's irrelevant. It's not a mistake or not a mistake. It's not a big deal.
So what
He was fine, and where he is, he'll do a good job.
What made you lose
I don't
confidence?
consider that. I didn't lose confidence in him.
So what was
Why did I lose confidence? He's going to the United Nations. To me, I think it's personally, if I had a choice for myself of doing, I'd rather have that job than the other.
He resigned on his own, or
He didn't resign. I just moved him. There's no resignation. You people are so bad. You know, you're trying to make a big deal out of something that's not. You are so bad. That's why nobody watches you anymore. Who are you with? Who are you with? You with who? First. I didn't know there was such a thing.
Round 2, fight!
Who are you with? That's what I do. You people treat us so badly. Wall Street Journal has truly gone to hell. Go ahead. It's a rotten newspaper. You hear what I said? It's a rotten newspaper.
Are there any updates and talks with
I wouldn't tell the Wall Street Journal because it'd be wasting my time.
Bruh.
There are talks, but I don't want to talk to the Wall Street Journal. But look, Wall Street Journal is China-oriented, and they're really bad for this country. Go ahead. I had a pollster that said to me, a legitimate pollster, John McLaughlin, top person. He said he's never seen polls that were so fake before, where they overweight the Democrats. And I only bring that up because I think it's something that should be said. It's a shame how dishonest the media is. The media is corrupt and they're dishonest, and they're so bad for our country. Thank you very much, everybody.
What's your message to athletes?
So he sets him straight, and he's not going to take any crap. And he certainly doesn't have circle back Jen Psaki at the podium. He has someone at the podium that will back him 100%. And guess what? That young lady that we have now at that podium is not going to take any guff from any of these reporters or pseudo-intellectuals that sit in that press room during her updating on a daily basis what is going on and how it is going. The transparency is ever present in this administration, much more than we've ever had in the past. And that includes what's going on, with all this crap with the Maryland dad And oh no, they took a poor guy that was just trying to hide in a tree away, and so on and so on. It's craziness is what it is. It's mental illness in some cases, but absolutely the Democratic side has gone absolutely bonkers when it comes to the fact that they cannot stand any successes that have been brought forward by this administration, or the successes in fixing some of the problems that we experience as taxpayers with the spending of our tax dollars that are not going to improve things in the United States. They're going all over the world for God knows what, because it's been covered up many, many times. And then Doge comes along and uncovers a bunch, and they don't like it. And they're upset with Doge, and they're upset with Mr. Holman for trying to do his job because the mandate is out. The election was won on the promise of deportations and fixing and closing the border. Half of that has been accomplished, and a lot have been already rounded up and either deported or awaiting deportation right now. And let's take a look at Tom Holman explaining exactly how it's going to happen. Take a look here.
Right now it's concentrating public safety threats, national security threats. That's a smaller population. So we're going to do this on priority base, as President Trump's promised, but as that aperture opens, there'll be more arrests nationwide.
When you talk about the aperture opening, the estimates of perhaps those who have been convicted or arrested in the past, 700,000 to over 1 million. So after you do that, then you go after everybody who is there illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8, United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country legally, you got a problem.
Our top story now at 5, a man hiding out in a tree for nearly 7 hours, allegedly trying to escape Homeland Security.
There is no escape from this.
Well, I do want to show you what's going on out here just behind me. It's that tree that Axel's going to zoom in on, where you see agents and authorities down below and up above. When you see that ladder going up into that tree, that's where that man is. Just think, it is really hot out here. We're sweating. He's been out here for hours. Neighbors tell us he's been here since about 10 a.m. Homeland Security has told us that ICE with DPS had a criminal warrant for his arrest. This is 29-year-old Raul Ical. That's what Homeland Security has told us. He is apparently a Guatemalan national, and this all began with a traffic stop. ICE says that they saw him run from the car into a yard and up this tree. They say that he entered illegally in 2013. He was deported nearly a month later and came back into America at an unknown time.
After being in the tree for 9 hours, the man eventually came down and was taken into custody.
This is a guy that if they're smart, they're not going to keep poking a stick at Tom Holman, because he's not going to put up with it for very long. And he's going to do the job that he's been tasked to do by this administration. And he's, so far, has done a wonderful job. And if he asked me, I would go help him at this particular point, because I see what the other side is trying to paint him as, and it's not the case. So, Tom, if you need some help, give me a call, and I'll be there right by your side and help you in any way that this feeble old guy can. So that's it. And those people that are worried about other people that are here illegally being treated differently, of course they're being treated differently. And if they stop breaking the law, they won't have a problem with Tom Holman, ICE, or any other major law enforcement agency that has to round these people up and get them the proper paperwork or a hearing and get them the heck either as citizens or out of our country until they process the proper paperwork to be here. And that's pure and simple. A lot of us had ancestors come through Ellis Island and different ports of entry in this country and had to wait and had to do what the law required them to do to get into this country and then study to become citizens. And if you did not speak the language, you had to go to classes to at least learn enough in sign reading and some English to get by. No more. We have people in schools now that are brought in by the illegals that cannot speak the language and require, somebody to translate for them while they're holding up an entire class of people that may be there to learn. But this is what goes on now. So let me show you a little something about the worries that people have about the Trump administration. Take a look at this.
If you voted for Republicans, you should have your voting rights suspended at least one election. You don't get the chance to do it again. You can earn it back, though. You got to take some classes or something, but no.
If you voted for Trump, you're racist. There is no in between. You are racist. There's nothing else to say. You are racist. You.
My name is she, her. Sometimes it's they, them. Please don't call me he. Please don't call me him. Just cause my voice is deep doesn't mean nothing.
If you go back to your casa on your own, then maybe we give you mucho bueno opportunity to come back to El America legally.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it. It was a deliberate act of sabotage, and now the Russians are pumping out disinformation and lies. We're going to work with our allies to get to the bottom of exactly precisely what happened. There will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
Can we just bring home the gang member already from El Salvador? Like, he's a dad. And I get that he's in a gang. And I get that he's beat his wife, but he's sorry. And it's not okay for them to just take him and take him back to the country that he came from, even though he came here illegally. He's a dad.
Holy shit. I'm gonna be a dad.
So, it's a fact that Clinton, Obama, they all said that they were going to take care of illegal immigration, and they all deported people, and you just saw the numbers that were taken care of by those administrations, and it probably in some cases more by Bush than they're really reporting, but these things took place, and it happened. So this is not new. It's just now because we have to clean up 20 million people or vet 20 million people that they're upset now because this was all brought in for a voting population to replace the falling off Latinos and blacks that the Democratic Party feels left them and went toward Trump. Well, that's the truth. That did happen. But it happened for a reason, because they got tired of being used by a party that takes care of themselves. They want to be viewed as elites, and they could care less about the constituency that they cajoled into voting for them through several generations and populations, that they were a given vote for the Democratic Party. And now that because of social media, because of platforms like this, people have awoken and they looked at things in a pragmatic situation and decided that they needed to vote this way to get some of these things done, have a better life, have more money in their pocket, see less immigrants taking away their jobs and their neighborhoods, making America safe again, and the fear of having your child go out of a tenement house and never come home because he is a victim of a drive-by shooting, an innocent person. This is being cleaned up, and the Democrats are fighting against it. The Democrats are taking the sides of the criminal. What does that tell you, folks? It must have to settle in somewhere in your mind that this is not right. It's not correct, and we cannot continue to have this country completely torn apart through race division and illegal immigrants in crime situations that are not punishable by the laws that are already on the books. These are not people making up laws and trying to take justice into their own hands like some of these stupid politicians are out telling you, and then backed up by the media who knows less than the man in the moon about anything in some cases, and they continue to lie to you. And if you're not convinced that they've been lying to you, take a look at the last 4 years that we suffered through a cover-up, a complete cover-up, no matter what Jen Psaki says, a complete cover-up of a dementia-ridden person that was not capable. And if you want to bring up Article 25, it should have been done then, and it should have been done to get Joe Biden off the ticket. And they let him go to the 11th hour and then installed someone that no one really liked, knew about, and then had no platform and no programs to lay out for the American people to decide yes on this, no on this. There was none. There were word salads. We saw it. We had voted against it, and now they want to tell you that you made a mistake based on the same facts that Kamala Harris brought to the podium to run for the United States presidential election. Zero. No plan. No talking other than talking points. No good, solid ideas. No platform to say this is what we stand for. This is what we will accomplish. The other side, however, made those statements to everyone, and the public, 11 million people, decided that they were telling you a plan that could work. And it is working. And if we just let this guy go back in the kitchen and continue cooking, we are going to experience the best next 3 years that you could ever imagine, both financially and in our own wallets. It's pure, it's simple. We have some things going on right now that if some of the past cabinet members were still in charge, we would have a real nightmare going on with regard to what's going on in the skies above our heads, especially with what took place at Newark Airport. EWR is the nomer for that, and it had a meltdown because they're trying to tell us through Morning Jackass over there and Mika that it's all the fault of Trump and his secretary of Transportation. Well, let's just take a little bit back look at the last 4 years, and the Secretary of Transportation that came out of a small town in Indiana as a mayor and got put in that position in a deal, no doubt, brokered by whoever was running Biden at the time. Hey, if you drop out of these things and let Biden win, we'll get you this position and that position. And if you look at everybody that stood up on that stage during those primaries, you'll quickly realize that he had nothing going for himself, Buttigieg, other than he was young. And he was a mayor, Mayor Pete. Well, he showed his true colors during his tenure as Secretary of Transportation. Let's think back to the Ohio train incident where he couldn't show up there for a year. And then let's look at some of the air problems that we've had under his tutelage and the holdup of shipping and the port unions going on strike that he had a hard time to deal with because he didn't know where his loyalties should lie. So he figured, well, if I back the unions, they'll vote for me if I run, and so on. This is how they operate. But he was probably one of the worst transportation secretaries we ever had, hands down, along with the worst president we've ever had. But we have a guy by the name of Duffy in there now that has done more in 100 days than Buttigieg did in his entire sitting there for 4 years. But he has a problem on his hands, but he has a fix underway for those problems, which is air traffic control, what is a small part of the problem. The biggest part of the problem, and as a pilot I can tell you this, is we have an antiquated FAA system right now in this country that needs to be revamped. And I'm talking about the computerization and the overall 30 to 40-year-old equipment that's in these towers to help these air traffic controllers. And now, because of the shortage of air traffic controllers and the early retirement laws that were on the FAA agendas, they're talking about bringing back retired air traffic controllers to help out in the interim while they train a new crop that is coming up through the schools that they are recruiting for right now. And according to what I hear from Duffy, that it's happening. There are people signing up for these jobs, and they are jobs well needed. It's my belief that a lot of these people, used to come from the military, along with a lot of the pilots. But that has slowed down over the years, and the base pay, starting pays for some of these airlines are not what it used to be. We should be aware of that. And there's a shortage of flight attendants because that's a difficult job. That's not a waitress in the sky. A flight attendant is a very, very crucial point for your safety on that airplane. And whether you're a Fetterman or a very important person, if you're told to put your seatbelt on, you need to do that. These people are there to save your life in the event of an untimely accident that may happen in the air as your transportation is taking place. These are not waitresses. They are not people that you can stop and insult over a bag that doesn't fit in an overhead. Be kind to these people. They get everybody's ill temper all day long. So smile, be nice, and take care of yourself as instructed when you're on a commercial aircraft. If you're on an aircraft with me, you're going to have to go along with the checklist, and that's it. But let's take a look at some of the nonsense that's going on right here.
We're not gonna make it, are we?
Pulled over to eat some food before my class, and I just got upset because I pulled over into a white neighborhood. It's just so nice, and it just reminds me that everything is about racism.
Ignorance is bliss.
I have a quick question for anyone who voted for Donald Trump. What are you going to tell your child when they come home from school crying because their best friend was just taken out of their classroom by an immigration agent?
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
But I am here to remind you of Montgomery and those folding chairs. Let me tell you that we know how to use a chair, whether we pulling it up or we doing something else with it.
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up.
Today's my last day right here in the United States after 20 years.
So as president, I will stand up to China and anyone else who tries to take advantage of American workers and companies. And when countries break the rules, we won't hesitate to impose targeted tariffs.
It helps when you know that borders are not racist, speech is not violence, America is good, terrorists are bad, men can never become women, police are not criminals, and criminals are not victims.
What a comparison, huh? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But Buttigieg wants to run for president in 2028. Can you believe that? I do hope that these people like AOC and Buttigieg and Jasmine Crockett are all getting pushed up the ladder by the likes of Commie Bernie. And he wants them to be the new talking heads of the Democratic Party right now, because he does not like Trump. So this is what's pushing their agendas, and it'll be interesting at best to see what comes of it. But it's great. You know, you really have to stop and wonder why these people act the way they do. Is it mental illness? Is it just sheer fact that they think that they're all powerful, all smart, and they're in a job for life to live off the backs of everyone out there working to pay their taxes, and they can hate Trump that much because he may be the oil that slides them out of their comfortable position and puts them into a mode that they should be in. And that's working on such things as this budget that's trying to go through, the one big, beautiful deal that is on the table and being worked on. And get together, Democrats, with Doge. Don't fight Doge unless you have something to cover up. And the people who scream the loudest, mark my words, are the ones that don't want the blanket off the top of what they have covered up, because that will cost them, and cost them in some cases criminal prosecution. And this is why they scream the loudest. So remember that when you hear these people come onto these news channels and tell you all about just how bad Doge has been, and how bad Donald Trump is, and how bad every cabinet member is, and how bad the first 100 days went, which did not go badly, folks. If you look at things, inflation is down, prices on goods are coming down, The scare now that they want you to fear and really start to fear is this Christmas you won't be able to buy $10 for your family. You'll only have to buy 3. Well, if you remember back to when we were kids, we had toys such as cars, trucks, cranes, dolls for the girls, and they lasted a lifetime. In some cases, some of us still have them in the attic and are able to still take them out and have your grandchildren play with them because they were made in America out of American goods by American skilled labor that we have lost the acumen to do any longer. Everything went overseas. Everything got used or remade in a cheaper metal that was in some cases hazardous to some children that played with those toys, and so on. It's just fear-mongering that the Democrats and the media are trying to pump into you, that the tariffs have caused all of the problems for Mattel toys. I remember when Mattel Toys had a factory in New York. It's been shuttered for years, probably torn down by now, because they moved overseas to get slave labor to do their job and do it cheaper and do a job on a toy that will last maybe 17 hours in the hands of some young kids. So you're buying 2 or 3 or 4 or 9 because they don't last. And there is part of your problem right there. So don't let them make you afraid that there are going to be shortages. These tariff talks are well underway and having very, very good results by our president and his cabinet of people that were picked for the prowess that they possess in getting this kind of a job to completion and working for the betterment of the United States of America, not a foreign country getting wealthy over us spending our money on their manufacturing, and they do not pay their laborers well at all. So we're bringing back manufacturing to this country under this administration. We're making it very lucrative, as the president tells us every day, that we can and will start building things here. It does take a little time to turn that boat around, but we'll do it. And he's doing it. Let the man do what he does best, negotiate the deals, get the manufacturing back here. Let's not be dependent for our pharmaceuticals to come out of India and China, where we have no manufacturing of it here. Eli Lilly made an announcement today about a breakthrough drug. Maybe that's going to be made here. Maybe that'll be farmed out overseas for them to copy and send out a second-rate product for us to spend our money on. And what you're getting out of Chinese goods on the internet or anywhere else is a lesser product. It is not the quality control that we used to have in manufacturing in this country. When you bought a washing machine or a refrigerator in the 1950s, in some cases, and I know people, and I've had relatives that are still using that refrigerator as a secondary one down in the basement for drinks because they lasted. You didn't have a repairman coming every 3 years to fix a compressor or to do this or that to that. I think maybe you would have to change the seal around the door every once in a while, but that was years and years between that. We don't make things here any longer That's going to change if Donald Trump is allowed to have his way and step out of his way, Democrats, so he can get this job done. You will all benefit from it unless you have something to hide. And if you have something to hide, yes, you should be worried and go out and sing in the street, because that's going to help. And who? You? First of all, you need singing lessons because you all suck at what you do. So why don't you stop annoying people? Go take your seat in the House. Go take your seat in the Senate and do the damn job we sent you there to do. Not hold rallies, not investigate people that don't need investigation. Investigate your own person sitting to your left. Turn and look. There's the person you probably need to investigate. And if you're sitting next to Schumer and the likes of Bernie, boy, do they need investigation, because they're the ones that are fighting tooth and nail for their own survival. They don't give a tinker's darn about you, me, or any other citizen in this country. They would sooner run down to El Salvador and become friends with the MS-13 thugs, murderers, and rapists that are in a jail down there, rather than go do the job that is needed in our Congress to get these bills passed so we can move forward and make America healthy again, make America wealthy again, and do the things that the president said he would do. Get him the help he needs to do it. Let him cook. The end result will be delicious. So with that, let's just take a little bit of a walk through stupid town one more time, and then we'll wrap things up here on this beautiful Tuesday in East Tennessee. Take a look here.
I'm looking forward to some of the things that we're going to do on oversight as we continue to push back against this administration. Now that we know that they are doing things such as snatching people off the streets and throwing them down in what I would consider to be concentration camps, and these are people that haven't been convicted of anything. Listen, we have oversight over them. We need to make sure that the American people are just as enraged as we all should be, because this administration is truly trying to kill us.
How about this new one they have, their new star, Crockett? How about her? If that's their new star, they're in serious trouble.
Well, that's it for this Tuesday. A lot to unpack one more time. There's more and more going to take place today. The stock market opened up a little down today, but I don't believe that it'll stay there. We rebounded from the slight correction that took place last week. But it all came back, and it came back well. So I believe that today is probably a few people taking profits from their gains over the last week's happiness in the stock market. And remember, he's a dad. He's an actual dad, and he's sorry that he beat his wife, that he human trafficked people for nefarious reasons. He's sorry that he beat his wife again. He's sorry that he's here illegally. So let's just forgive and forget. He's in the right place. He's home. He is a citizen of El Salvador, and that's where he belongs and under whose laws he has to live now. So he's not coming back. I got news for you, Democrats. It isn't going to happen. So with that, we're going to wish you all the best possible Tuesday ever. And please remember, stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned here to the Kaiser Report every day, Monday through Friday, for a light side look at things and maybe some information that you had not realized that is taking place today. So with that, bye-bye now. God bless.